Cool. That sounds good. I do have a question that
Yes.
got brought up on an inspection I did last week. The guy asked if there's a such thing as a like a kickback from the government for a type of shingle or any roofing system that they get like a you know how they do the energy tax refund or whatever it is.
Yes.
And I was like, I've never heard of one as a consumer. I was like, I haven't been doing roofing long, but as a consumer, I've never heard of one. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I'm pretty sure that does exist. There are specific types of shingles. Like, I'm not an expert in this by any means, and you might just need to look up what manufacturer. Call your supplier. That's the best thing that you can do is call the supplier and say which manufacturers and which products qualify and what is the benefit specifically. What is kind of the kickback or the deduction that they can do or the write off or whatever. The other thing is, too, I do know that even from an insurance standpoint, and you might be more familiar with this, even policies, certain policies with specific types of shingles, like impact resistant and stuff like that, you can
Yeah.
get a reduction in your premiums for that, I'm pretty sure.
I know at State Farm you can. It asks when we write a homeowner policy, it would ask for does the home have impact resistant shingles on it?
Right, because it's
And
less risky.
yeah, I don't even know what an impact resistant shingle is. I asked one of the guys that works here. I'm friends with a couple of guys before I even started working here, and he was like, I don't even know. He's like, an architectural shingle, maybe. He's like, I don't know.
So an IR, an impact resistant shingle, is basically it's the highest rated when they do the steel ball test, which is like a hail test. So
Mm,
it's like a rubberized shingle, basically. It's very heavy duty, and it's the least likely to get damaged during a hailstorm. So impact resistant is more expensive, but the likelihood of a customer sustaining damage is much less. And so you can easily look up, like later, you can write this down, but just look up, like here's a popular one is the Atlas Impact Resistant. So if you look up that shingle, the price point's pretty good. And this is something that, here's the other thing, Matt. Like if you really want to take your sales game to the next level, upsell people on it. It's like, Mrs. Jones, here's the question that I used to ask. How long are you planning on being in this house? Is this like you're gonna die here? No offense, like that's not meant to sound crazy, but like, are you gonna die in this house? Or I mean, are you planning on moving in 5 or 10 years? Or how long you plan on being here? Oh, I'm sure we'll be here for, I mean, if we don't die in this house, we're gonna be here for another 15, 20 years. All right. Well, how many storms do you get each summer here? Oh, probably two or three. All right. So over the course of the next 15 years, if you got two storms a year, there are 30 more events that could happen that where you'd have to go through this whole process again, get your roof torn off, go through an insurance claim, pay your deductible. So I'm going to just throw this out here. I don't offer this to everybody based on just how long they're going to be there. Because if you're only going to be in this house for another 5 years, I'd say take the gamble. But they've got a product called the impact resistant shingle. And it is a little bit more, it would be an upgrade from the shingle that you've got now. And then just quote them whatever it would be. Maybe it's $50 more a square. I don't know what the numbers are. You'd have to ask with your supplier and your company and whatever your overhead is, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's $90 a square, whatever it is. So it's like, Mrs. Jones, here's what I can say. This shingle, while it's not hail proof, is still an impact resistant shingle, meaning it rates the highest on the steel ball test, which is how they rate hail ratings, right? So if you could avoid paying let's just say they have a $1,500 deductible, and let's just say it's $90 more per square, and they've got a 30 square roof. Mrs. Jones, it'd be an upgrade, like it'd be $2,700 to do, but if you didn't have to, like if you have to go through two more claims in the next 15 years, which you're very likely to have to do, those two claims right there are going to cost you, $3,000 just in the deductible alone, plus all the time and hassle. So if we spread this out and you did same as cash, like spread it out over 12 months, I mean, that $2,700, it'd only be $225 for the next 12 months. I mean, would you be interested in doing something like that? And they can choose to do it or not do it. But that's a way that you can increase your average order size. You make more commission off of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
take it every step of the way. I mean, there's always opportunity. And some people will argue with me about this. Some roofers say, like I love this guy. He's great. Mark, he's in the program as well. And he totally disagrees with me on this because he says, well, I don't know, Becca, the IRs, people say they're impact resistant, but I also say they're insurance resistant, meaning it's harder to get those shingles approved in the long run. Now, meaning if there's a storm that hits and it hits the IR and there is maybe a little bit of damage on there, the insurance, prerequisites for approving that roof are going to be much more tough than on your 3-tab or architectural shingle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one way to look at it if you're planning on getting that same customer another time down the road to do their roof again. But
I was about to say you're going to make that extra almost 3,000 at one time and go on to the next.
Exactly. And that's you have to decide how long is that customer going to be there and how long are you specifically going to be there. Like the odds of you doing that same customer again, I'm not saying they're abysmal, but why not if you were going to make $1,500 today on this roof and then hoping to make $1,500 again in 3 years when that same customer gets hit, why don't you just make that $1,500 today plus the additional $1,500 in profit from the upsell and have it today? Like there's no promises about what's going to happen next year, or the year after that, or the year after that, So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not
same concept as you're telling the customer.
Exactly.
Why they need that shingle.
Exactly. And so it's a great product. It's a little bit more expensive, but if they're in an area where they're likely to get hit again, doesn't it kind of make sense to do it?
Yeah. Are those? Do you know? Are they installed the same way as a normal shingle?
Yeah, most of them just look like an architectural shingle. It's just I want to say the asphalt. It's like a rubberized asphalt.